Welcome back, children. Today we are going to learn chapter number 2, memory and storage. So in this chapter we will learn different types of memory and the storage devices that we can use. So let us begin. Now, computer memory has been divided into two parts. One is primary memory, or you can also call it as a main memory or internal memory, and second is secondary memory, or you can call it as a external memory or auxiliary memory. Now again, primary memory is divided into two parts. One is RAM, or what we call random access memory, and another is ROM, read only memory. So if you go through the diagram there, you will see RAM is again divided into SRAM and DRAM. Now what is SRAM? S means static. Static read random access memory. So static RAM has lower access time, so it is fast and expensive. So, and another DRAM. D means dynamic. So dynamic RAM has higher access time, so it is less expensive and slow. Now let us go to ROM. ROM is also known as non-volatile memory. So later in the chapter, when we go through the ROM, at that time we will learn what is non-volatile. So ROM is divided into three different parts. Means it is of three different types. PROM. P for programmable. Another is EPROM. E for erasable programmable ROM. And one is EEPROM, that is electrically erasable programmable ROM. Now, ROM has already been programmed by the manufacturing company. So if you feel that something goes wrong in the program in a ROM and it can be erased, or if it has the capacity to erase, it is called EPROM, means erasable programmable ROM. And the same thing, if it is done electrically, we can call it as a electrical erasable programmable ROM, that is read-only memory. Now let us see what is secondary memory. Now as the name suggests, secondary, it cannot be directly communicated with the processor. First, it should communicate with the RAM, then from the RAM, it is communicated with the processor. As the name suggests, secondary, secondary means external. So those devices that are connected external to the CPU, we call it as a secondary memory. So some of the examples are hard disk drive, secured disks, compact disks, DVD, flash drive, many more are there. So today we will go to the primary memory. RAM, random access memory. If you go to the figure, that is the image of the RAM. So it is up to the RAM that depends the speed of your computer. So data flows from memory to processor and executes. Processor directly communicate with memory, that is RAM. Data will be first transferred to the RAM, then CPU can access that data from RAM. Now as the name suggests, random access memory. Now what is random access? CPU can directly access any address location of RAM memory. That is why it is known as a random access memory. So let us go through some of the points of RAM. This memory can be directly accessed by the CPU because it is a primary memory. It is also known as volatile memory. So why volatile? Means the data will remain in the the data will remain in the RAM as long as power is switched on. Once the power is switched off, the data from the RAM will get lost. So it loses its content when the power is turned off. RAM is the fastest and costless memory of the computer. That is why it is very expensive. The storage capacity of RAM is high. It is also called read-write memory. Why read-write memory? Processor can read the instruction from RAM and write the result from the RAM. That is how data can be modified in a RAM. That is why we call it as a read-write memory. Now let us go to ROM, that is read-only memory. As the name suggests, read-only, so data in ROM cannot be modified. It can only be read. So if you go to the figure, this is the images of ROM. It is known as non-volatile memory. Why non-volatile memory? Because even after you switch off the machine, the data remain in the ROM. It retains its content even when the power is turned off. The capacity of ROM is comparatively smaller than RAM. It is slower and cheaper than RAM. It has both the features of primary and secondary memory. Why? Because as you all know, it is inside the CPU, so it is a primary memory. And why it has the features of secondary memory? Because the data stored in a ROM can not be lost even when the power is turned off. So these are the features of ROM. Now let us see the difference between RAM and ROM quickly. Okay. RAM, it is known as volatile memory. So ROM, it is known as non-volatile memory. In RAM, it loses its content when the power is turned off, but in ROM, it retains its content even when the power is turned off. RAM is the fastest and costliest memory of the computer. At the same time, ROM is slower and cheaper than RAM. The storage capacity of RAM is high, whereas the capacity of ROM is comparatively smaller than RAM. RAM is also known as read-write memory, whereas ROM is known as read-only memory. So, for today, this much. In the next class, we will come up with different types of secondary storage devices. So, till then, thank you, children.